So over a year ago, we put together this RIDGID Pro Gear drawer setup. A year later, testing them out in the field, is it worth your money? That's what we're here to find out. You're in the market for some modular toolboxes with some pull-out drawers. Well, today I'm going to show you my RIDGID Pro Gear setup with the pull-out drawers. I'm also going to show you how to swap drawers around and change these boxes. So to pull these drawers out, it's just these little plastic tip clips here. They go in a little further. That's how much they ride. And then basically you just kind of got to get in there and push down on it to get it to release off of the release that's up in here. Then the whole big drawer will come out. As far as these drawers go, if I'm not mistaken, just kind of get in and push out on the side a little bit because there's just a retainer clip over here that kind of just needs to be pulled, and then it should just come, yep, straight out and straight forward. So it's got those two clips on the back. That one kind of sets, this back one here sets in this hole, then this slides into that, and then it's retained in the back here. Boom. There you go. So if you guys have seen the previous videos where I've talked about these Pro Gear sets, my biggest complaint with the deep boxes is that I could never find good enough organization to have a solid socket set in here. The socket set that I end up going with that I think is going to work out for us really well was I went out and bought the Icon sets. They currently have a 1/4 inch and a 3/8 set available. So we went out and bought them, and now we're going to put them in our box and see how they fit. So the next drawer, got all of my ratchets. All the ratchets are here. Obviously, there's some extensions that belong with the Icon sets. They stay in that foam tray. Really dig that. Coming down here, here's the, Icon 1/4 inch sockets in their foam trays. We got it divided up, so all my 1/4 inch drive stuff, and if there's any extra stuff that I grab, because I know I'm going to just need it for something. 1/4 inch, 3/8, 1/2 inch. Big box here. There's the 3/8 Icon stuff. I got all my bits over here. For the value of what you can get compared to buying some other stuff, man, you just cannot beat the value of these boxes. I 110% recommend buying these RIDGID Pro Gear boxes. I've had them to the test for about the past 2 to 3 months now, and I can say that I am very, very happy with this purchase. So to get to the point of this whole entire video, a year later, testing them out in the field, is it worth your money? So the one thing that I have learned in the last year is that taking this box and this box is sometimes extremely excruciating in a junkyard setting. As you can see, I have a lot of stuff currently out of this box, because what I've learned to do is that if I'm going to a yard for the first time and not sure what I'll get into, I'll drag around the whole setup. But if I'm going to a yard specifically for parts, I've packed this smaller one with some of the other items that we're going to need so I can make it quick and easy, and it takes a lot of the weight out of it. What you might notice too is I have a bunch of random impact sockets in here. Like I said, a year ago, I didn't figure anything out for 1/2 inch stuff, and that still stays the same this year. And that's also why at some point I just plan on going out and buying some sort of a hand cart, just because with the bigger wheels, it just makes it roll through a junkyard a lot easier. For me, work smarter, not harder. But as far as it goes with using this as a set, especially when we do more of our mobile stuff, if we go out and pick something up, or we do a lot of big trips. The biggest one last year for us was going up to upstate New York and picking up that 1938 Farmall F20. We used this setup right at the show, and it was slick because we had it in the back of the truck, and basically I just pulled it out and wheeled it around and could have it set up right next to the tractor, grab all the tools. It's just really slick, and honestly I use it around here a lot too. Here when we were getting rid of some of the vehicles that we didn't need anymore, like the Silverado, the Tahoe, a couple of those, it was super slick just to pull this out of the back of the truck and just set it right there where you were working at, and I pretty much have the majority of the tools to do most of the stuff I need to do out of this set. And all the concerns of, will these latches hold up, will the drawers hold up, they've been fantastic. They really have been. I haven't had literally any single issue with any of that. Some of the things that I still wish that RIDGID did, and they haven't in the last year since we made that last video, they still don't have a platform for the top of these. I have come accustomed to kind of just working on the top of this, which I kind of don't necessarily like, but it does kind of do its job. They did come out with a new wheel and caster setup. One of you guys were nice enough to point that out in the last video, because I've had this box in a contractor setting along with the other style boxes. and even some of the Gen 1 stuff. These wheels kind of stink because I like taking it, especially if you're going to have the drawers and or even the flip open boxes like this. What's really, really frustrating is when you go to wheel it in and you kind of want to put it up against the wall so it's out of a walkway or, you know, a space where people are going to be traveling through. It is kind of frustrating because you kind of have to like wheel the whole thing and then kind of like gently nudge it up against the wall. I think the wheel set that you can buy would be really, really beneficial in that type of setting. For what we normally do here though, no, I'm gonna stick with the hand cart. In case you're wondering about water intrusion, as you can see there's some water up on it, but everything inside the drawers stays dry. I guess what else I can say as far as another complaint is that this stuff does kind of move around when you're rolling it around, especially if you're on like a rocky terrain. All this stuff will kind of jiggle around and move about. So sometimes when you open one of these drawers, you'll have stuff that's a little bit misplaced. But at the same time too, what do you really expect? I mean, if you're out in the field kind of rolling these around over big rocks and stuff, unless you have some sort of insulators or, you know, like these foam trays, you know, these are really nice. These do move around a little bit in here, but they keep all the tools retained to them. As some of these wrenches, yeah, look at all jumbled up and kind of moved around in here. I'll be 100% honest with you, it really doesn't bother me that much as long as it stays in that drawer and as long as I remember to close these little latches here so that nothing can come out. It's good, and I have zero issues with it, so I can see that being a complaint that someone would bring up though, which is valid, so I get that. I'm going to take some time here at the end of this video to answer some of the questions that you guys had in the first video that we put out on this Pro Gear set. The first question I had was, can you or someone watching share the inside measurements of the drawers? So I had one of you guys ask what were the actual dimensions. So coming up here to our short boxes, I'll do a depth measurement for you here. So all these are going to be the same as far as depth. That's roughly 2¼ inches deep on these shallow boxes. What do we got there? We have 5 inches on the dot. So big drawers, 5 inches deep. Small drawers, 2¼ The width is a very, very tight 15¾ I mean, it is just right there. Then depth is 11¼ give or take a little bit there. It might be a little bit extra, but I'm going off of the inside of the box here, what's actually usable space. And just like the small ones, the big one is exactly the same. So same usable space for both of them. But there you go. Hopefully that answered your question. The next question that I got is, does the Home Depot sell this as a set? I know they have a set where they have all the boxes together, but I don't think I've ever seen a set with the drawers. So the answer is kind of yes and no for that. What I have seen is that they will sell you one of the drawer boxes, but then it's one of the older flip open deep boxes from the 2.0 set, which again, I just think it's stupid marketing. Like, just sell them together as a package. Does that mean you have to go out and buy a package? No, you can go and buy them individually. But it is kind of annoying. And that's a good question, because why do they sell the old school flip open boxes, but they won't sell you 2 of the drawer boxes with the hand cart? They'll sell you the hand cart and a single drawer box, but they will not sell you 2 drawer boxes with the hand cart. It doesn't make any sense to me, but that's their marketing, I guess. One of the other comments that I thought was a really, really good comment here was they need a dolly and a work surface, which we discussed that they came out with a dolly. I still agree they definitely need a work surface. It's a great budget system, but the other entry-level green box brand by TTI makes a ton of accessories, and the top-of-the-line red box has almost everything. Why is TTI doing this? The neglected middle child. Please, TTI, get your head out of the sand with this product. Yeah, I agree. It's tough when you have a company that owns so many brands and one of their middle products is a really, really good product. It's basically competing head-to-head with Ryobi. And I've never experienced the Ryobi stuff. If any of you guys have, please let me know what you think down in the comment sections. But it's amazing that they were not willing to give the RIDGID brand more accessories. And I think it truly has everything to do with the fact that they're trying to shove Milwaukee products down your throats and make you spend stupid amounts of money for Big Red when you can go and buy these Pro Gear sets. So that's big company politics that I'm not going to get into because I have a whole rant about that. But unfortunately for us Pro Gear guys, we're kind of stuck in the middle of this paradox where we have a great product on our hands, but we're going to have to live with not having as many accessories as all these other companies do. Is that the biggest red flag with buying Pro Gear stuff? Absolutely. But again, for the quality and the price point of these boxes, you can't beat it. And at the end of the day, whether it's RIDGID, whether it's Ryobi, whether it's Milwaukee, they're all made in the same damn factory across seas. So it's just what companies do to try to make money, and we're just unfortunately caught up in the middle of it. But that's not going to stop me from buying the better product, in my opinion, for the cheapest price. End of story. If this is the first time that you are seeing us here on Boneyard Revivals, you can go through our playlist and watch everything that we've ever done on this RIDGID Pro Gear series. We have also done some other spin-off tool-related videos about some of the toolboxes we have. You can find them in our shorts feeds and or looking around the channel as well. And hey, if you're in the automotive content, definitely make sure you're checking some of that stuff out too. That is what we mainly do here on this channel. But it takes the tools to work on the projects because, you know, the heat's in the tools, boys. Remember to get out in the shop and keep wrenching on those projects. Your dreams will not work unless you do. We'll see you next time here on Boneyard Revivals. Take care.